Hello, and welcome to this week's extra urban episode of the Imaginary Movie Podcast, a podcast where I'm going to traverse the alleyways of Chinatown in my. It says big semi rig here. That can't be right. A lorry. It's a Chinatown. It's alleys. It's small. A lorry. Apparently in a lorry.
Apparently in a lorry. Yeah. Hi, Dave. My name's Sam, and this is a great movie about trying to 3-point turn a massive 80-liter engine American diesel truck round some of the tightest streets probably in North America, in San Francisco.
Here's an interesting fact for you, Sam.
Here we go.
Have you ever driven like when you've moved like a Luton van, like a box van?
I've never driven a big van like that.
But you've had one. You had one. You've seen them. You've seen. You know the
I
ones
know what
I
you're
mean.
talking about. Yeah, I've seen vans.
Someone told my grandfather was a lorry driver. And he was telling me the other day one of those weighs less than just the tractor unit, just the cab on a lorry.
Fuck.
They are fucking enormous.
I mean, I guess you've got all of that weight. You've got that power, that transfer that needs to happen. You know, mass moves mass. We know that from
me going to the gym. Yeah, we know that.
Me going to the gym all the time and building up all this excess muscle that I do absolutely have. Thank goodness
all
it's
that
an audio
disgusting excess muscle.
Audio format.
It's too much,
really
Sam. I've been meaning to tell you. I think you should stop.
It really is. But I actually hurt myself a little bit doing that. Yes. So trucks and driving in trucks in small spaces and Jack Burton. We're doing Big Trouble in Little China. We did it. We got there. We swung it back. We're doing this 1986 John Carpenter movie about fucking who knows what. This is a crazy, insane film that I absolutely loved to watch, and I'm excited to talk about it today, Dave.
Man, America has this weird thing about truck drivers, I think. Well, it go in this period anyway. And I remember there's Smokey and the Bandit from '77 is also it's also a truck driver, and there's loads of other movies where the protagonist is like a salt of the earth, working class like truck driver, and they know the country back and forward, and they're amazing drivers and all of this, and it's very lionized in American media. So many things are in America, but
yeah, people fucking shitting on the toilet is lionized in American media because American media just loves. I mean, Christ, I guess it even is like Elvis dying on the toilet is a thing, is a pop culture trope. I mean, there's nothing that these people won't turn into, cultural currency in the form of TV tropes and movies and Jesus Christ. But this film, no idea how I'm going to connect these two elements that I just laid out. This film, I think, is. For me, it stands up there as one of those like quintessential 80s style movies. I had not seen this movie, but it's exactly what I thought it would be. In this first time watch, like it was exactly the type of just brazen mid 1980s. We are on top of the world, America, and we're going to make movies that reflect that status. And boy, like Soviet Union's on its way out. Fucking let's pump, let's go, drill, baby. And I think it's hard to imagine a more self-confident movie than this one. Which is funny considering its troubled development.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of like there's a whole like a rash of these kind of movies from the 80s, and you've seen the ones you've seen and you missed the ones you've missed. It's a One Crazy Night movie. I think that fits under that trope. It's kind of like a madcap movie. So many of these movies where I think nowadays, and especially the last sort of 15 years, you would have this movie would be about Kurt Russell's character Jack
Burton. Could be Jack Trenton.
It would be about Jack Burton, like about his moral journey in kind of figuring out whether he wants to be the hero. Essentially, that would be the movie, and it would be a lot more like pathos in it and all of that. In this movie, Biddy in the movie ever questions the fact that they're in this movie. Like nobody in this movie ever questions anything they're doing or anything that's
No,
happening around them. It's just
no.
taken at face value, and we're gonna fight some ninjas, and that's fine.
It's very much in that Seinfeld. No one learns anything. No hugs. You know what I mean? Like we don't. That is the basic. People within 30 minutes of this movie, the main character who is just almost randomly just coming to town on this little radio intro that we get about Jack Burton talking to himself about himself in the third person. He comes into town, and within 30 minutes of the movie, he's in disguise in a brothel trying to rescue a victim of modern slavery. Like, and there's no questioning of that. There's no like, what the fuck am I doing? He's completely bought in to this role, and you know what? The movie is so good for that choice. Like the idea that we just accept, this craziness. We just accept the fact that we're going to be doing all this random shit, and that there's like ancient Chinese magic floating around San Francisco. No one bats an eyelid, and I think, holy moly, do I love that about this film, because you are bought into the premise immediately, and then from there, we get obviously what is some pretty good filmmaking from John Carpenter in and creating a movie that I think stands alone and is competent and interesting. Probably quite racist as well. We should just ring that bell at the beginning, because I think this is Orientalist up the wazoo, and there's a lot, but hold on, it's, I think, still a heck of a lot of fun in that sense if you, I guess, view it in the context of the time of the mid 1980s.
Yeah, it feels odd to kind of like we should talk about that for a second, and it feels odd to just kind of discard that and say it was the fashion at the time, like the Nazis, but
wow. I mean, I guess you could characterize what I said by that in that way, Dave. Absolutely, yes.
What I'm saying is that I don't think this movie should get a pass for being like Orientalist. I think is definitely the term, but at the same time, like, it's not as cartoonish as even the prequel trilogy. Movies made 20 years after this that are way, 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 way more Orientalist and racist than this movie is.
And Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, Dr. Jones, like all of that stuff is,
I think,
probably worse as well. Like
there's a self-seriousness about the way that these Asian characters are portrayed or presented that is silly and wacky, but it doesn't necessarily feel loads like it's punching down. Like, Jack Burton's job isn't to go in and prove that he as a white man should win and beat all of these bad guys. That's not really the story of it. Do you know what I mean? That's not really the theme of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a lack of sensitivity there that I think is really clear, but also I think
it's missing the white savior thing that like, say, Temple of Doom has.
And I think the movie is trying to. I think the movie's trying to actually push back at that a little bit, not loads, but there's a little bit, like the bit where this is, I'm skipping ahead, but my God, this is the funniest thing in the entire movie, is that he shoots the ceiling in the final battle, and concrete falls on his head, and he's on the floor, knocked out, unconscious. I mean, I think that's a little bit of a hint that they're trying to portray this character as a bit of a doofus as well. Like, he's the most self-confident person I've ever seen on screen, and he says nothing but witty lines, and he's a caricature of Americanism with his truck, with his like gun-ho attitude in a time full of self-confident white men on television and movies. Like, this man is hero protagonist all the way, except I think he's supposed to be portrayed as a bit of a doofus for that as well. Like, he's
wacky,
cool,
isn't it? And he's
wacky,
not
though,
as effectual as you would imagine. I mean, there's that scene where they bar the door and then the guy get through and they have to fight them, and he shoots two of them, and then he drops his knife and he basically falls back down the shelves to look for it. And Dennis Dunn, who plays Wang Chi, the kind of like the other lead of the movie, basically like has, or some of these great, and by great I mean stupid, wire work shots where he beats all these guys up, and then Kurt Russell comes back around the corner and is like, "Oh, we've beaten them," And there are quite a lot of moments like that through the movie where, he's very rarely, apart from when he kills the absolute fantastic James Hong in this movie at the very end. Apart from that, he's kind of just like along for the ride and bumbling and, isn't necessarily as responsible solely for getting them out of these binds.
It feels a bit to me like a bit of a mocking love letter to the Hong Kong action movies of
absolutely. And the only reason I think Kurt Russell is in this is because it's a movie made in Hollywood, and you've got to have a white guy.
Yeah, this will be Jackie Chan, I think. Fast forward a little bit.
And that's the sort of movie, and that's the sort of movie it's trying to ape. This is meant. You are absolutely right. This is meant to be Hollywood's answer to the Hong Kong kung fu movie.
Yeah,
like
but we'd have
almost.
To wait for Rush Hour.
Kind of amazed this isn't a remake of, because there's so many of those as well. Just a straight remake of a Hong Kong movie starring white people.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as usual, we are not the cultural arbiters on any of this, so I'm sure there are better, more well-informed podcasts to dive into. But let's get into. I think this is one of those movies. It's very surprising that it holds up so well because it's just got such a ridiculous premise, and it's got such a varied cast in playing different characters, and like we're going into weird mythology, and there's magic, and there's glowing eyes, and like I really was expecting this to be trashier than it was. I think at the time it was not well received and was considered, but I think there is that kind of cult status that's built up around it, and that's probably where I've maybe got some of my I've heard of this but not seen it. But you know what? All the way through the movie, I think there's a lot of really good crafted filmmaking here. The cinematography, I think, is like really cool, like really clear. Everything's the fighting is really well shot and framed, and you understand, I think, what's going on, even when they're like crawling through dungeons and doing some pretty wacky running around, almost like Scooby-Doo type escapades in this massive, huge sets of kind of Chinese style houses. It's absolutely wild. I think there's a reason that movies from this era hold up and don't. I think a lot of that is the crafted filmmaking, and I guess John Carpenter knows how to make movies is the takeaway, I suppose.
I guess, yeah, and it's the reason, I guess, the other reason it holds up so well is I think the visual stuff I think is reasonably good. Like you can tell it's wire work, but it's kind of like in that stylized way where it works. I think the lightning looks really good.
Yeah.
The the lightning effect, I think that works really, really well. The goblin creature underground practical costume looks reasonably good. I couldn't tell whether this had been like played with afterwards. Especially there's a shot with the eye, the thing made of eyes.
Yeah, that like
I couldn't quite figure out how they'd done that practically in 1986 because it looked pretty good. Well, generally,
it could be like one of those Masters of the Universe like weird creatures, like half CG, half like there's lots, but I think there's quite a lot of that, isn't it? That feels quite modern in some ways. Some of the like there's effect where he's walking through a wall, and like you can't really like, it doesn't have that gleam, that kind of glow of this was done on a blue screen before they had green screens. Like it feels very.
That's what I'm saying. I think that visually, I think not only is it well shot, and generally, and obviously the way it's shot helps so much with the pacing of the movie and the way that it works. But there's all these practical sets, and it feels like a much older movie because everyone's getting thrown through balsa wood walls and doors at every second, and it's kind of in that old-fashioned way where you can tell that that's made of like papier-mâché, but it still works.
It does still work, and I think you know what you can go back to our discussion about Halloween in 1978, so it's quite a long time before this, and I think we probably had a similar a similar take there in that this movie holds up. This movie actually from 1978, that is Halloween, like is a really, really well constructed movie with a tight plot that is clear about what it's doing. It's nicely shot and it's effective in its in its scariness. And I think if you take that as an example of, I guess he kind of created a lot of that genre, but also he's aping horror movies from before. You kind of have to say the same thing about now. Like we've already mentioned Jackie Chan, but I think like the Rush Hour series seems very, very much connected to this type of like. So you can almost see the thread. I think it shows. I think the impact that John Carpenter had on filmmaking, because a lot of the tropes that we see here have gone down the line, and they might be tropes that are copied from films before, of course. But that's.
It's kind of that inception. The 80s are an interesting time when you've got these new Hollywood directors are coming into their height of the powers. You've got Spielberg and Lucas and Carpenter is the sort of similar age as well. Coming into their own, having made huge success in the 70s and shaking up cinema, like things like even Scorsese, things like Taxi Driver, stuff that's such a massive departure from 1960s cinema. And there, again, Indiana Jones, harkening back to kind of this serialized adventure. And as usual, obviously, Hollywood is really well known for just in the 1920s, we stole from German cinema. Then we had our own little thing for a while. Then we stole from British cinema for quite a while. We had the Australian invasion where we just couldn't get enough of Australian stuff. And the 80s seemed to be that real kind of like...
I know those words, but that doesn't make any sense.
Where Hong Kong cinema is at its absolute pinnacle, I think, in the late 80s in this era. Jackie Chan is making like 15,000 movies a year, working for the Triad or whatever he was doing at the time, before he came to America. And so this feels like an early attempt to capitalize on that, because people were, Quentin Tarantino, people like him, were in the 80s were sat watching like dubbed versions of these Hong Kong movies and falling in love with them and the filmmaking. And you've got Kurosawa and all these like legendary filmmakers in Asia making movies. And then so this feels like Hollywood trying to distill that into a very Hollywood way, which I think is why it didn't succeed at the time, but is maybe why it holds up so well now.
Yeah, for sure. It almost is a bit of a time capsule, isn't it, of the kind of period. When we talk about the cast a little bit, we've mentioned Kurt Russell, but let's just cement this as I fucking love this Kurt Russell role. I love he's so confident. He's such a dickhead. He's so snarky. He's kind of useless, but he's all the way through the movie. He is sarcastic to the bad guys. He doesn't for 1 second have any sense of like fear. He's just brash and fantastic, and I think he's such a good choice. Fairly well experienced by this point. Like he'd done movies in the 60s into the 70s, and now and then we've got coming up probably some of his bigger ones like Tango and Cash and stuff like that comes after this, isn't it? And so I think this is a good, like, I like Kurt Russell. He is also a fucking brilliant what's he in that? What's the movie called? The Christmas Chronicles. I think he's the best Santa Claus ever in cinema. I'm just gonna say it. We could save it for a Christmas episode, but wow, he's so good in that.
I don't think I have a hot take on that.
We'll come back to it in December. We'll come back.
You're not a fan of Tim Allen?
He's good. He's good, but honest to God, Kurt Russell is kind of better. We'll come back to it in December. The other person, Dennis Dunn, who plays, what's the character's name? Christ. Wang Chi. Who's Jack's friend. And he's kind of like a co-lead in this. I think he's fairly equal, isn't he, in terms of like time on screen. This guy brings probably actual martial arts experience. And I think he's kind of the, again, he's the whole reason this is happening is because...
Well, you can sort of tell, can't you, that you could take Kurt Russell and Kim Cattrall out of this movie and it doesn't change.
Yeah. They're not doing
like
anything
the movie.
Useful. Yeah.
Well, it's that they're just so irrelevant to the kind of call to action. The movie doesn't change; it's just got less people in the scenes.
Yes, yeah.
And I think that's a real, obviously, maybe diluting it a bit, but I think it adds a lot of comedic stuff to the movie because Kurt Russell is so stupid. And I think Kim Cattrall's fantastic in this as well. But yeah, Wang Chi, it's his story. It's his fiance gets kidnapped, and he has to go and rescue his fiance, and he has to uncover this conspiracy and this ancient evil sorcerer, in the movie. And so in terms of he's really the protagonist of the story, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's that whole thing about him trying to save. Does this woman speak once other than saying "ow"? I don't think she does. What was the? Oh,
this is a case of headshot casting, if ever I've seen it. I can only assume that either they thought the movie was too long and they didn't want to give her any lines, or maybe she couldn't act. Maybe
she was in. I don't know. She was in. She was in a few things.
Susie Pie.
Yeah, 1981 to 1990.
She's a model. I don't mean to be rude. She was in a Rocky movie.
Who knows?
Who knows? And she was on the Cosby Show. Not a big career. I'm going to make a bold assertion that this woman's not very good actor, which is fine.
And she's there very much to be that kind of like damsel in distress.
They put out casting call, Sam, Asian with green eyes, right?
Green eyes, yeah. Which we're told repeatedly there aren't lots of. I don't know the actual verifiable truth of that. However, it's a key part of the story, isn't it? Is that they found this, and this woman then is going to be key to solving the James Hong's curse. It's all very. The actual story, they say it looks like when they were writing it. Oh yeah, we were researching Chinese mythology and culture and history. I'm like, boys, just don't even try. Like, just don't even try because you're just gonna make things confusing and worse. Like, what are we doing? Like, absolutely
there's even a line in the movie from Egg, Egg Shen, played by Victor Wong, who's it's quite because Kurt Russell's just calling him Egg throughout the whole movie.
I know, yeah, with
which
egg
feels like a nickname, but and he even says like, oh, in China, when Kurt Russell asks him something, he's like, oh, in China you've got Confucianism and Buddhism and and Taoism or whatever, and he just kind of hand waves the whole plot of the movie around because it's all just kind of
ancient Chinese myths. That's enough. Yeah.
Exactly, pretty much. And he says that to Kurt Russell, and it's kind of like, all right then, fine.
Yeah.
Let's go down into this elevator. There's lots of elevators, and they go up or they go down. They go down in this elevator, and we're going to take our ancient Chinese meth, and we're going to fight these guys.
It doesn't really make sense, but it doesn't really matter, and that I think comes back to just the pure fun of this movie.
I think it's intentionally vague.
Yeah,
it's enough that James Hong is an evil, and he wants to fuck/murder these women. It's unclear, to be honest, and that will somehow make him young again.
It's all part of the mix. Kim Cattrall, who is the kind of Gracie Law, her name's Gracie Law, and she's a lawyer. All right.
Feel like that name could have done with a second pass in the right.
We could have done a bit more work on that. I think she is excellent though, Kim Cattrall, in this. I think she is super fun.
She's always had good comedic timing.
Oh, she's got great timing, great.
She manages
energy.
to be a damsel in a lot of this movie without overly feeling like it.
Without Kate Capshaw, indeed.
She's not Kate Capshaw from Temple of Doom, which is really contemporary with this and really heinous. Refer back to our Temple of Doom episode.
Yeah, it's pretty. And I think there's a good role there, and this is where I think it goes to the kind of ensemble nature of this movie. It's the gang. The gang are gonna, and that includes a lot of the other kind of side actors. Victor Wong. You've also got Donald Lee, and basically loads of other characters who are part of this. Like, we're gonna go in and save the girl, and it's like, again, it doesn't really make sense, but the individual bit by bit action that we get, I think, is really, really fun. Some of the scenes, like where they're all tied up in the chairs and they have to try and break out, and like you get the baddie kind of martial art guys who are coming in.
Well, the baddies are quite cool. Let's talk about the baddies for a while, because you've got the evil Red Scarf gang, And there's some really recognisable stunt actors in that gang. You've seen them in a million. Usually getting killed by the hero of an action movie. Usually Bruce Willis is like lighting these guys up.
Well, exactly. Al Luong, who
he's in everything.
Everything he's in. I'm pretty sure he's in Die Hard as well. And it's just fucking great. You see him all the time in these 80s and 90s movies, and you're like, it's that guy. And clearly he's more of a stuntman than an actor. But he rocks up. He does some cool stuff. He gets killed. Excellent day at the office. Congratulations.
Do you want to hear? So he's in Lethal Weapon. He's in Die Hard. He's in Death Warrant, which is a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Oh, yes. That's
he's
a great
Rapid
movie,
Fire.
Dave.
Rapid Fire with Brandon Lee. He's in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yes.
As Genghis Khan, I think.
Yes.
He's in this. He's in They Live. He's in TJ Hooker, The Fall Guy, Knight Rider,
Wow.
24. Like, this guy,
he's
works. In everything. And he's
This guy
always
works.
good. He's always fun. And he's always playing the same role. But actually, there's nothing wrong with like finding your niche and just owning it.
Owning it. Yeah.
I
just think
so he's
good for him.
he's really good, and he's representative of a lot of like that guys that we get in the mass here. But then the main bad guys, we've got James Hong, who is like a Hollywood legend.
Mm-hmm.
Seinfeld, Table for Five.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was watching that the other day actually.
Can I just point one thing out? He is in a 52-minute movie called Awesome Asian Bad Guys, an action comedy about two offbeat filmmakers reuniting the East Asian bad guys from action films from the 80s and 90s to carry off one impossible mission. Now, I'm sure that is absolute trash, right? I'm almost certain of it, but I kind of want to watch
Fuck
that.
it, if people are going to go out and watch The Expendables, like...
Exactly.
Oh no, it's another fat white guy who was in movies in the 80s.
Let's give these awesome Asian bad guys the credit they deserve, because that is exactly the type of thing we're talking about. Al Luong, you're a rock star. Congratulations.
Yeah. So the three bad guys, this is what I wanted to get to.
Yes.
Are Thunder, Rain, and Lightning.
Is that what I didn't realize that. That's kind of shitty, but okay, it's fine.
Played by, I'm going to say their names, Carter Wong, Peter Kwong, and James Pax, respectively. Okay. They don't speak, I don't think. They don't say anything in the movie, I don't believe.
But they look
they're
awesome.
They look awesome. The design's awesome. One of them's like... I'm going to read the Wikipedia thing. Thunder can expand his body. He's the one who, and he does expand his body and eventually blows up at the end of the
That's
movie.
so weird. It's so weird. It's so weird. It's the weirdest bit is the end where he balloons. Like he almost, but like Metapod, when he just, Metapod, harden. And it's like, oh, all right, that didn't do anything. This is exactly why, there's no advantage for you to do this, but okay.
No. You've got the sword guy, the jumpy sword guy. He's Rain. And you've got Lightning, who I think they've got a lawsuit against Mortal Kombat. I really felt watching this. I was Googling. I was like, when did Mortal Kombat come out? Oh, after this. After this.
There's no
got the big hat.
on.
Got the big hat, though, and the lightning. I'm like, Mortal Kombat, you did John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China dirty. That's the most visually fun one, I think. Because the lightning holds up really well, and it'll be that old-fashioned. Would it be rotoscoped? Like in Star Wars, it'd be like the lightning in Star Wars.
They paint it in, yeah, exactly, yeah. No, I think Mortal Kombat is Mortal Kombat later.
1992. I looked.
1992. Oh yeah, so these people. Let's get. Come on, Jesus. Gonna
get sued. That's how you get sued.
Get sued. It's. Yeah, they are good. They're kind of a bit silly, but I think they're the real menace, aren't they, throughout the movie? And especially because don't ask why, but they're basically they serve Lo Pan, and I'm not sure what Lo Pan has offered them to make them carry out all of this cool martial arts. But it looks fucking great. The hats are huge. I love the size of the hats. Everything is, I think, really fun.
Well, they're the baddies, aren't they? They're like the baddies.
Doing it because
there's a video game aspect to this movie, and they're the baddies, and we meet them really early on. It's like 19 minutes into the movie we meet these guys, and James Hong. We are not fucking around. Honestly, I think I messaged you it's 18 or 19 minutes, 15 minutes, and we're in an alleyway in the truck watching a street fight between these two gangs.
Yeah,
and then 3 or 4 minutes after the street fight has been great, you then get the mysterious magic bad guys showing up.
It's just perfect. I think again, we say cut the
That's
first
such
act.
tight filmmaking. In that
Let's not
15
even have-
minutes, by the way, we have him arrive, we have him poker, we have them go to a second location, which is the airport. We have the airport chase scene, and then we get to the alleyway. It's such tight filmmaking that doesn't feel rushed.
No. In a movie that's under was it about 99
minutes.
So we're
Under 100.
We're just slightly over our 90-minute movie rule, but I think that
I think in 99 minutes, I think anything under 100 is like, I think I'm counting it. I think it's
There.
like 90 to 100 minutes.
Let's
is
have
perfect.
that kind of 10% grace period. I think it's very reasonable, indeed. And all the way through the movie, Jack really just wants his truck back. Like, that's the thing. Yes, he does become a little bit more invested, but he's not really. He's that classic disengaged. Like,
He's on the phone to his insurance company
he's-
after the fight. He's on the phone to his insurance. I don't know where it is. I left it in an alleyway. I'm just warning you guys. I might need to make a claim.
It's amazing, and it's just so funny. It's like so pitch perfect for this clever character, who he's done like, fucking hell, all right, Wang, let's go and see what we're gonna. We'll go and find your girlfriend or whatever. So he just gets pulled into this completely insane, back off the wall Chinese conspiracy,
And he's up for
whatever.
it. They die. They go down in the elevator. They end up in like a underwater lake full of corpses tied to chairs and stuff.
Yeah,
And he's perfectly chill about it.
looks great. Looks absolutely brilliant. It's really fun. And I guess it's that lightness, that fun kind of like, it's scary and it's quite graphic in places, but it never goes into that kind of horror movie trope. It very much is in that, like, we're gonna have the lightness, we're gonna have the fun that keeps.
It's Goonies-esque.
Yeah, I think that's a good comp. That's definitely a good. It sits in the same kind of place, doesn't it?
We're underground. There's weird stuff going on. Like, it feels very visually quite similar. A lot of the sets and things.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know what staff they've got in common,
That is a good.
or whether it's just because if it's of the time.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's the movie's largely just a collection of like fight scenes and escape scenes and
set pieces. They free all those women they've got all these kind of like women being held, and they free them from the kind of brothel. And then, well, let's maybe we can come back. I don't know. It's maybe an example of a movie that there's like not huge amounts to talk about, but things that I didn't like, things that I thought was a little bit of a. I thought like the final act, the final scene, a big set piece, where they defeat Lopan, and I thought that was like actually weirdly the worst part of the movie. I thought all the stuff, all the set pieces before where they were captured was really fun. When they escaped through the tunnels was really good. Like, and the bit that I felt like was a bit underwritten and didn't really have the same clarity of direction that the rest of the movie has was in this like kind of shitty looking set.
you didn't like the escalator.
With the escalator.
Why isn't the escalator shot framed so that you want the escalator effect? You want the effect of them gliding down the stairs. Why do we not just like cut that shot so that you can't see their feet?
It's bizarre, and you know what's really important though is if you want to see them, because they have that horror movie throughout the movie, they have that weird horror movie like they move but they don't walk, and it looks really creepy. Fine, great. They used it a couple times. Coming down the stairs though, the immersion is completely broken when they evidently step off the escalator and just start walking the rest of it. Like, so they float down the stairs, but they don't float across the floor.
But they're not
What's the
floating,
magic-
Sam, because you can see the escalator at all times.
I know, but it's like if they just kept it in and they said, oh, okay, we can't really hide it, we're just going to go down and then we're going to just go onto another conveyor belt and float, that would be more effective. But the break of them just being like down the stairs and then they just walk, and what the fuck? So that maybe set the scene for like a few of
It's the pitfall of a lot of these movies, I think, is you want to get to the firework factory. The whole movie is about getting to the firework factory.
Yeah.
But if you've already set off a lot of fireworks on the way to the factory,
Good.
it kind of makes the ending feel like, oh, it's just a big firework. Oh, I see. It's just more of the same.
Yeah, like, so what's the solution? What we do is we make a massive firework, and I mean in circumference, one firework, one cartoon Bugs Bunny style firework that is 7 foot wide, and we're gonna set that off. And you're like, okay, but that's just gonna be an explosion, and that's not going to actually be like, like that's not gonna be fun. That's just gonna be, and that's this is amazing metaphor, an amazing metaphor, Dave. That's kind of what that last scene is. What the two examples of this for me, Wang goes against one of the henchmen. I can't remember which one it is, and they're having these. The sword guy. What's his name though? What's the sword guy's name?
Rain.
Rain. Rain and Wang basically just kind of like jump at each other, and then
Goes on a bit, doesn't it?
and then go past each other, and you hear ching where they hit the swords off each other, and then they land, and they do that like 3 times, and then they have like this weird. So it's, I know it's the 80s and we haven't had the Matrix yet, so we don't have like this. But you could maybe do some effect where you could have like a whoosh, and the blade goes across his face. We could add a little bit of variety, not just doing this 3 times, and then they have a weird thing where they're like face to face fighting each other.
It's the same with everything. Like, there's some bits that work. I think Kurt Russell's, he stabs the guy, and then he can't get him off him because he's wearing loads of armor. That's funny.
Yeah, that was funny. Really good. Again,
there's
he's
good
kind
bits.
of useless.
Kate Capshaw kind of like gets some agency
Not
back.
Kate
She
Capshaw,
starts
not
fighting
Kate
back.
Capshaw.
Not Kate
Not
Capshaw.
That's
Kim
the other
Cattrall.
movie. Indy.
That's the other Indy. You need to tell the warble there, Sam. It's Indy.
Oh yeah,
the warble in it. Yeah, you see, yeah, perfect.
Thank you.
Good.
Coaching me.
So Kim Cattrall kind of gets some agency. I love her in this movie. She's so fun.
She's so good. And you know why she's good is because she's just like no bullshit all the way through the movie.
At no point is she like, please rescue me. I need to be rescued.
No, she softens a little bit on for literally 2 seconds when he's drowning, but only after she's like dead upset because where's Wang? Oh no, he's okay. Like everyone gets one, and then he gets one at the end, and he's like, "Hey, baby," and he's like, "Fuck you." I'm like, perfect, absolutely.
I love the scene where they're making out in the lift, and they get out, and Kurt Russell's just got lipstick all over his face. Perfect, absolutely perfect. For ages as well, and it's like. And it would have been so easy because there's a cut. It would have been so easy to be like, oh, just wipe that. You look silly. No, leave it because that is who this character is.
And well done to the continuity people for keeping that obviously between takes and applying it like perfect. So fucking good, so good. But back to the bad stuff. The bit where he's like poking the Lo Shan's poking the woman for her blood. And like, there's no peril here. And he's like, look at my fingers. And I'm like, what the fuck? He evolves from being quite a creepy, menacing guy when he's dressed up as like super old, and then you get the weird prosthetic one where his head's glowing and stuff. Super cool. And he just
it's the mistake of if you look at this movie as a video game, it's the mistake of the video game movie, which is that we haven't dispatched with any of these henchmen before we get to the end fight. And therefore, we're not really there to fight the bad guy. We're there to fight the henchman that we haven't fought in the rest of the movie. And it kind of dilutes it a bit. And I like the scene where Kurt Russell throws a knife at James Hong and he catches it, and then he throws it back at Kurt Russell, who catches it and throws it back at him, and it sticks right up his forehead.
I thought this was rubbish. I thought that was a rubbish death. It was
fun.
Yeah, but it was fun, but it wasn't. I don't think it is deserving of of this like cool character that has been set up through the movie that he wants to do this, and I just thought, oh, okay. I was expecting him to come back as some kind of ghost or something, you know, like he was gonna like the spirit.
We can both agree that Kim Cattrall should have killed him.
Oh, well, exactly, Kim Cattrall or the
redacted.
She doesn't have a name. Miao Yin, Susie Pie's character, could have killed him. Like, we could have had a. I mean, we're asking.
I don't know. She's not allowed to talk in this movie, Sam, because she can't act. She's such a poor actress. I think
she
maybe
can't even stab a knife.
I think that would have been too much.
She can't even throw.
She's
a
literally
knife.
comatose in most of this movie,
I know.
presumably because they wanted her to do stuff, and they were like, "Oh no, it's fine.
She's not. I don't know.
You look
I don't
great.
know.
just stand there
I
and
think
look
I
great."
think Kim Cattrall would definitely have been that was definitely my choice as well. But I just felt so. What are we saying? What we're saying is that this is a really fun movie that goes in loads of different directions and brings in loads of stuff, and it's probably a bit racist as well. But in terms of the construction of the movie, really good. And then they blow it in the final scene. Aha! But wait, because that's not quite true. They blow it in the penultimate scene, but the actual last part of this movie, where Kurt Russell just says, like Bender,
See you later.
shut up, baby, I know it, and just fucks off back on his radio, on his little, what's it called, the Pork Express or something? The truck's called the Pork Express? Like,
Something like that.
and he just leaves because Gracie Law, attorney at law, says, "I love you, Jack. I want to be with you, Jack."
Well, no, it's even weirder than that because she's like, "I wouldn't ask you to sell your truck and settle down because you'd never do it." And he's like, and then she's like, "Oh, but maybe a truck big enough for for both of us."
I'll come
And he's
with
like,
you.
"Nah, fuck off. I've hit it and now I'm gonna quit it.
Shut
Bye,
up, baby. I know it. I'm off.
I know it." And he's got his check. He's got his money. Now I'm rich, baby. Bye. And he's off. It's such a weird thing of like.
It's like Harrison Ford.
It's like one
the-
final joke because there's the last
Start
bit
of
where you see the
Empire.
monster on the back of the truck, or under the truck, or wherever it is, and like I guess it's that one. But they couldn't resist that one final joke. When actually, maybe we could have just had the scene of them all just like having noodles.
They could have taken a Miller Lite that they reference throughout the
Have it your way.
because the economics of television have changed, Steve. You could. That's a great joke, by the way. That's a great American dad joke. Dad, why are we in a Burger King? because
The economics of television have changed, Steve. Have it your way.
Brilliant, well done.
We are the only people who make
In the
consistently
world,
make America
but
in the
that is a-
entire world.
That is a great American dad joke. Yeah, this is just an unaccountable, but in terms of like the fucking batshit, they fucked it up in the penultimate scene, and for me, it just brought it right back. It just brought it right. Just that lovely sweet,
This character
salty
is the
taste.
stupidest man in the entire world, and he's
He
like,
c-
"Right,
he-
I'm off for my next adventure."
He he could have had Kim Cattrall and his girlfriend, and they could have had adventures
In
every week.
1986, what are you doing, man?
And he's just like, "Nah, I'm gonna go back on the Pork Express." Hey, it's Jack.
Gotta ship those square pigs, Sam.
It's got a square hogs. I thought it's Jack Burton here, back with my radio show to know. Hold on. Is he a podcaster? There's no one listening, but he's still talking. I think that might be the case.
Possibly. It's weird. It kind of fit. I think it fits the character to a certain extent. Like I don't hate it, but it's odd.
No, I loved it. I thought it was stupid, and I loved it. And I think that's probably a good place to be.
Probably, yeah.
So
Can we just have a moment to reflect on the when we go on the rescue mission in this movie, the final rescue mission to the firework factory? There's like 5 or 6 like red shirt henchmen with them. They're all killed, and we don't take a
Yeah.
moment to acknowledge that. None of them are named.
They're
One of
not
them
even,
gets
like-
eaten while they're on the way to the firework factory, and
Yeah.
the guy's just like, he's just like,
oh,
bad dates. He's like, we just don't go near there. It's fine. And we get to the room and we're fighting together. And there's these like 3 or 4 guys who are like, "Oh yeah, we're all gonna make it out. We're gonna beat this guy." You ain't making it out, son. And
No.
they're just not there. We don't even see them die. They're just not there when they escape. And it's like,
death
oh, did
off
we just leave those guys? Like those really selfless like 4 or 5
They have
guys who work
lines.
for you,
Some of them
Egg,
even
who
have lines. They don't even have a Bud Light, a Miller Lite. They don't even have a generic light beer for them at the end of the movie. In that point where you think, okay, we've just lost like 5 guys, but it's okay because we got the girl. And
it's just the nature of the movie henchmen. It's usually not even henchmen, but the helpers. The helpers, like, because it's really
They're not
common in all
important.
movies. It's like, You go to the guy, you go to the fixer who's going to help you. He brings 4 or 5 guys, right? The fixer might die, but he gets like a really big send off. No one is shedding a tear for these 5 guys who just came into work one morning and were like, oh yeah, we need to go and do this thing. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, let's go and do it. Yeah, let's help this guy out. I really want to help this guy. Oh, you're all dead. Your families are all bereft. And we're not going to take a second, not a single fucking beat to acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like that. It's again, it's to the movie's credit. It's not like we don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Like the scores of henchmen that get killed in this movie. We don't have time for that.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting. There's a good little. We're not. You can go read the Wikipedia stuff yourself. But on Wikipedia, there's a reference to The Golden Child, which is a Eddie Murphy movie, which is
I have not seen.
quite good, quite funny. Yeah. Which is also about this, basically like an American delves into the world of Chinese gangsters / mysticism. A twin movie, which is always interesting. But John Carpenter, in his kind of surliness, I think he seems quite like he was quite a surly person. How many adventure pictures dealing with Chinese mysticism have been released by the major studios in the past 20 years? For 2 of them to come along at the exact same time is more than mere coincidence. I think that probably reflects the fact this script was shopped around for a while, and they basically, you take Eddie
It's the
Murphy.
Deep Impact thing, isn't it?
It is, but I think he's suggesting there's maybe a little bit more to that. But Eddie Murphy at the peak of his powers.
No, there's
comes
the
out
whole
at the same
thing with the
time.
Deep Impact Armageddon thing is that you find out a competing studio is releasing this thing. It's like this comic movie or this
Yeah.
asteroid movie, and you're like, well, let's make our own asteroid movie. We'll release it 2 weeks before theirs, and we'll totally fuck them because they're so competitive. And I imagine it's exactly the same thing. The script was floated around. Someone probably offered it to Eddie Murphy or someone like that, or to a studio, and they turned it down. But then said, "Oh yeah, there's a really recent example of what's her name?
I'll let you come back to it. While I talk.
Dave and his wife, whose name I can't, Alison Brie, right? Just made a body horror movie, and I was reading something that apparently there was a really similar movie 4 or 5 years ago, or recently-ish, and they were offered it. They were offered the leads in that, and they turned it down, and then basically stole the idea, and made their own, went and did their own project. I think
Together.
it's probably in litigation. Starring in it.
Is it called Together?
I think so.
No,
Yeah.
the movie's called Together.
Together.
Who's on first?
Together. Yeah.
Who's on first? Yeah. So in May 25, Shanks, Brie, and Franco, the talent agency Endeavour, and Neon were sued in a lawsuit alleging copyright infringement on the 2023 film Better Half, which does not have a Wikipedia page, from what I can see.
It's a body horror movie where essentially I think this husband and wife kind of like
Yeah.
more merge into one being slowly over the course of the movie. Like some real Cronenberg shit. Like it's interesting, but apparently, they were basically, someone said to them, "Oh, do you want to?" An agent said, "Oh, do you want to be? We'd like you to offer you the lead roles in this movie, and it'd be a Dave Franco and Alison Brie vehicle." And whatever happened, they said no, but then went away and made it anyway.
It's very interesting, isn't it? It's very, very, very interesting.
I'm sure it happens all the time.
It's a small industry. Other interesting things: the Firehouse from Ghostbusters is in this movie. Catch it if you can. That's a good little reference. I thought was quite fun, and there's quite a few of these like locations in this movie. It does all the way through the film. It does have that real nice kind of like 80s vibe to it. I think probably there's a good that's probably why there's a lot of this movie does hold up. It's very, very pop culture-y. And if you look, again, if you go through the Wikipedia page, you can see like there's lots of references to this film. It really has held on longer in the way that, what was that 80s zombie movie that we watched that we really liked? 80s zombie movie, and we watched it. The Night of the Comet. I think it's a great movie. Has anyone heard of it in the world other than us?
Just me and you.
Literally nobody other than me and you, Dave. Literally.
Whereas this, I think this is still a very popular movie. Maybe with old heads like us and a bit older, this was a cult classic. This was a video store rental for a long time. This was very popular with
Yeah.
people.
And
So
it
I
just
think
shows
if
you the random...
if you ask your average 42-year-old man about Big Trouble in Little China, he'll tell you what a great movie it is. I think.
I think certainly maybe a slightly, a more kind of movie adjacent person. But I guess a lot of that's the John Carpenter effect as well. Like this person was making movies.
I really like John Carpenter. He's made some bad movies, and he's made some bad movies that are still really, really fun. I really like, and it's not a good movie, I really, really like his Vampires with James Woods. Who, like, while seemingly quite a big piece of shit...
He's still alive.
John Carpenter, yeah. He's only 77.
Fuck. He looks so much older.
He's looked that old for, like, 40 years
I
as
know.
well, which is why I thought he was dead.
In 2001, he looks decrepit.
Yeah.
2014, he looks even worse. But yeah, good for him. Good for him. Like, clearly knows what he's doing. The Thing is brilliant. Halloween is brilliant.
The Thing's very good, yeah.
I want to watch Escape from New York, actually. Another Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I've also never
No,
seen...
not me neither.
Have I seen Escape from LA? That is a good... Hold on. Let me check.
Which one's the first one?
New York is 81, and then Escape from LA is 1996.
He didn't do LA then.
He did he did LA as well. We should watch these movies. Holy shit, Dave.
Yeah.
Snake
I'm up for that.
Plissken. We should watch Escape from New York. Like, let's do that next week.
Maybe. Yeah. Let's
do
that next week.
Let's do it next week. That's what we do. We always commit to the movie that we say we're going to do next week. We always do that. All right. So
And that's an imaginary promise.
if I say we're doing that, we're doing that. Watching Escape from New York, 1981, Kurt Russell, John Carpenter, and then we're going to watch Escape from LA straight afterwards. Literally the second it finishes, all of them. That's what we're going to do. Well, this has been great. I thoroughly enjoyed watching this movie. It's stupid, it's fun, it's engaging, it's energetic, it's well shot.
It's that brand of 80s movie that kind of just like, it's not even switch your brain off, but it's just, we're just having fun. I think there's a self-seriousness, there's too much Zack Snyder
Dave,
in the thing.
To everything, to fucking everything. Just,
Yeah, and we can just enjoy a movie. We can just enjoy a movie. It's fine.
Enjoy a movie. It can be
The
silly.
movie can just be fun.
Exactly. We don't have to fucking tie in 25 other movies and justify this random character who has no introduction in this movie because you should have seen him in the movie 12 movies ago. Please, just for the love of Jesus Christ, let's just make self-contained fun movies that are fun. All right? Fuck you. And blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go do some martial arts, try and get this tension out of myself. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll get some wires set up and swing you about, and I'm sure that'll be fine. I'm sure. Hey, stuntmen don't seem that well trained. It's fine. It's all right.
No, I think it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I trust you. I trust your martial art wire work. Absolutely. Yeah. Right, Dave. We'll see you next time.